Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the REC podcast, brought to you by REC Comics and Collectibles. I'm your host today, Roman Chavez, and with me is
Eric Icarus.
And we have some news that we'd like to talk about this week. On a very sad note for yours truly, Supernatural has announced that it will be ending its run after 15 seasons.
See, it ain't so.
It is so, man. It's a rough one, man, because the show has been pretty consistently good. Eric doesn't watch it,
I don't.
But he's aware of it because it's such a part of pop culture.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a mainstay.
Sure. There's references all over the place,
all over
and
the
even
place.
I get them.
Yeah.
Not even watching the show.
Yeah, you know, our pretty much our main guys, Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki and Misha Collins, they kind of did an Instagram video and let the fans know before they broke the news.
Oh, really?
Yeah, online.
Huh.
So it was very sweet to see them, address us personally and just, thank us for the ride. And you know what? It's been an excellent ride with them too. For a show that's going on 15 seasons, there's only parts of the seasons that I don't care for, but there's no single one where I'm like, that was just a bad season. It was a phenomenon.
Okay.
It was interesting. It had, brotherly love and family connections. It had hints of Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
Right.
With big bads and monsters of the week.
That's what I was getting ready to say when you first described it. You said the first few seasons were like monsters of the week driven,
Mm-hmm,
right? And then it turned into a whole overarching stories and it got massive. And I'd like to check it out one day.
It's got a great cast.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan, my man in there.
Oh yeah, he's so good in there, and is only really in the first 2 seasons, but most recently, spoilers, had a return to the show.
Oh.
It was nothing but fan service, but it was much appreciated.
There you go.
I'll miss it just because we don't have a lot of shows like that. Stuff that's science fiction that's not either space or comic book related right now, for the most part.
You're right.
But the show's had a good run, and while I'm sad to see it go, it makes sense. They had to move on. Okay. So I'm hoping it's one last ride, one good ride, But the big news of the week, something we've been waiting for forever,
it's official.
And it is official that Disney and Marvel Studios have purchased so many properties from Fox.
Oh yeah.
There's tons of things, but we'll talk about just kind of the main ones to us. I'm going to start with some TV, and the big gun there is The Simpsons.
Yes.
Disney gets the rights to The Simpsons.
That's pretty crazy. And
Family Guy and American Dad. Actually, I think TBS keeps American Dad.
Oh, okay.
But King of the Hill, Bob's Burgers, something like the X-Files archives is available, and I mean, there are still people chomping at the bit for more X-Files.
Oh, for sure.
We had that reboot show.
Which was
Yeah, and maybe not reboot. It wasn't a reboot. It was just kind of a restart. Continuation. That's right.
Yeah, it was
But they still feel, those writers felt like they still had a
story to
another
tell.
movie, another story in them. So we'll see if they go back to that well.
Sure.
Big guns like Avatar.
Oh, yeah.
Alien, Predator,
Ugh.
and Planet of the Apes.
Oof.
What do you do?
Seeing their track record, I only see good things with this.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, they probably can't get as gory and dark as Fox, but the storytelling is there. And, Disney has... whatever they do is gold, and I cannot wait to see what they do with these properties. It's going to be awesome.
What do you think about the idea of... I think Aliens, Predators, and Planet of the Apes all lend themselves to possibly be TV shows.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. They don't need to be this contained story or these 3 film type thing.
Sure, because it wasn't working. I feel like they had so much to tell in 2.5 hours, and they just could not get all of it out in those 2.5 hours. So I think the next TV show would be amazing.
We still know so little
about aliens,
about the predator homeworlds, where they come from. Because I feel like all we've ever really seen are these nature preserves,
right?
Like in Predators.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a deeper, you don't read the comic books, but the comic books for Alien and Predator are always pretty solid.
Okay.
They do give you in-depth backstory. They give us character development on these creatures. We do, for a lot of times we are able to read their language and everything like that. So, but I think that those 3 properties might really lend themselves to, this Disney streaming service thing. I think at some point it's got to be like, well, there's this umbrella of streaming services because
right.
you don't want your kids being able to watch Aladdin and watch Aliens
right.
in the same breath.
Sure.
So I think more and more it's going to be becoming more like a Netflix.
Sure.
Not just with their properties, but they're going to start doing a lot of other stuff.
Right, yeah, totally. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. But then kind of our big guns for I think our taste in particular is obviously all of the X-Men.
Oh, yes.
Deadpool, X-Force.
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic
Woo.
Four. That I'm actually, being such a huge X-Men fan, Fantastic Four is probably what I'm most excited
me
for.
too.
Because we really haven't gotten a fair shake.
No,
from the
we've had
Fantastic
some
Four.
very awesome X-Men movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of hit and miss, but we've had a lot of hits.
Yeah.
And no hits for Fantastic Four, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Probably the best
Definitely
thing that they did in the Fantastic Four franchise was Silver Surfer.
Right.
He was just cool
He
looking.
looked really good.
Sounded cool.
Yes.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Great.
Yeah, it was not a very good attempt at Marvel's first family.
Right. And like you said previously, it was supposed to be more family driven movie, and I think they went too family.
Yeah.
And then they tried to go too gritty with Fan Four Stick.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I think a good middle ground. It's going to be great. And Disney's good at middle ground as far as, combining family and darkness. I think they do it great, man.
Having an Avengers film is different than having a Fantastic Four film, where it's still a team, but more so than the Avengers, the Fantastic Four is genuinely a family.
Yeah, yep.
With the odd man out being Uncle Ben, who is the Uncle Joey of the Marvel universe, where he doesn't have a blood tie, he's just buddies.
Yeah, for sure.
But just that whole.
You don't need to have blood to be family.
It's true. It's true. Which we do learn a lot in Supernatural. So good callback, even though you're not aware of that.
I was talking about me and you, but okay.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, I guess that's sweeter. That's sweeter. So yeah, the Fantastic Four is the thing that I'm kind of most excited about.
Which villains you want to get?
I think everybody's kind of on board for. I think we all want to see that Kirby Galactus. We want to see the big helmet. We want to see all of that. It'll be hokey, but there's a way that you can do it.
No,
I think
because if you look at Hela, the way she looks in the comic books, that looks hokey.
Yeah,
but it looks amazing on screen.
Yeah, that's
they
true.
Can do it.
That's true. Something I didn't realize until the other day. I saw an article about it or a YouTube clip about it, and they were saying that the more Hela, when she first shows up, she doesn't have her helmet. And her clothes are all torn up. And when she first lands, she has a little bit more spikes on her helmet. Her clothes are coming back together. The longer she's in Asgard, the bigger her helmet gets.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the better her clothes get.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
But I digress.
Sure.
Doom. Dr. Doom, man. Like I said, we're going to talk about this ad nauseum.
Oh, for sure.
For the existence of this podcast, is that I want Tony Stark and Doctor Strange versus Doctor Doom.
Oh, we need that fight.
And obviously it has to be because Doctor Doom has taken out Reed Richards or has him locked up or has him displayed, whatever.
Yep.
But I want the magic and the tech versus Doctor Doom.
Exactly.
In the worst way.
Oh, yeah.
In the worst way.
Because I always felt Doctor Doom was essentially the second best scientist in the Marvel universe and the second best sorcerer in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, there you go.
But he's the second best at both.
Yeah. He's really ruling the king of the losers type thing.
That's right, man. King of the silver medal. Nobody wants silver, man.
Nobody wants silver. Yeah. Over here, Tony Stark's like, that's fine. I'll just drink.
Yeah, there you go.
It works. We also get Annihilus.
Yeah. Negative Zone, too.
Which gives us, Annihilus and the Negative Zone definitely give us access to the storyline Annihilation, which is kind of where we actually got this most recent incarnation of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they weren't this team of Rocket and Groot and Drax.
That's right. They had Charlie 27,
Yeah.
Major Victory.
Yeah,
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah,
that's right.
And James Gunn actually called back to them for the Ravagers in Guardians
that's right,
2. Yeah.
Dude. Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah. Ving Rhames plays Charlie 27.
Dude, you're right.
Yeah, he's calling back to all of that.
Sorry, I just totally spaced that. Oh my God.
Yeah, see, and that's what's good about Marvel is they're still always giving us some surprises. Being able to get Annihilus to do the Annihilation would be a great Avengers prospect, or even just there was always talk that the Guardians of the Galaxy at some point how everything was kind of tying into Avengers, that things might start tying into Guardians.
Okay.
And now that we have Fantastic Four, maybe we'll be doing more of that.
For sure,
where it's less tying into Avengers and more tying into Fantastic Four. Because the X-Men can kind of stand on their own.
Oh, for sure. X-Men's its own thing.
Yeah, they
can
still,
carry themselves.
even in major continuity now, like you'll get the occasional Wolverine or Beast,
Sure.
helping the Avengers.
Right.
And we have had the Avengers versus X-Men storylines.
Well, do you think we'll get that in the MCU?
I think that there's a way to do it in a way that they need to do it.
Oh, for
but
sure.
they've got to take their time.
Oh yeah, they got to build it like they did Civil War.
It's got to feel organic. It's
For
got to
sure.
feel like we have to care that Cyclops and Captain America are at odds.
Right.
And you might have an Xavier-less team at that point.
Sure.
An AVX is something that we might not see for
Years.
6, 8,
10.
yeah, something crazy.
Yeah.
Because, when we're starting to feel that itch for something new, what's better than having our heroes fight each other?
That's right.
Avengers versus X-Men.
For sure.
So I do have hopes for that, but the AVX comic wasn't that good, but we have everybody. We have everybody now. So everything's limitless. There's tons of talk about Eternals happening.
I've been hearing about that too.
So,
which I'm not too up on that.
we'll have to do Eternals will merit their own episode.
Okay,
because so many people don't, and so many people really only know the Eternals. Neil Gaiman did a reboot about it at least 10 years ago.
I was only vaguely aware of like Cannonball from the X-Force being an Eternal. Is that right, or am I wrong on that?
Yes and no,
Okay,
but
okay.
we'll disseminate.
Okay.
We'll disseminate that at a later date. But with the Fox stuff that's happy for the fans, we have to remember that there is a serious side to all of this, and unfortunately, they're expecting somewhere upwards of 10,000 layoffs.
Jeez.
That
sucks.
Because when you buy, you've got your own company, and then you buy another company. You're not going to keep all the same visual artists, all the same prop people. Disney's got their own people.
Oh, yeah, for
sure. It does.
Those are the people I feel bad for.
Yeah.
Other people like that. It's the executives I don't feel bad
Yeah,
for.
the
Because
executives-
it's like what they were doing wasn't working. So, honestly, goodbye.
Yeah.
And bring in some fresh new blood. But, yeah, like what you mean, like set decorators and
Yeah.
Caterers.
Craft services, yeah. All of
Seriously,
that.
I feel bad for them.
It's
Because those are just like regular jobs like we have.
Yeah,
Like,
man, it's a bruise to the economy, and it's unfortunate that business is so cutthroat.
Yeah.
Because the deal was signed on Wednesday,
Yep.
the 20th or the 21st.
Yeah.
And 4 days later, they're like, well, these are the people that are probably going to get cut.
Man.
Yeah, it makes for a tough pill to swallow for some people.
It's bittersweet.
It's a tough pill to swallow for some people. And then something else that's interesting in all of this kind of streaming service world that we're living in, Disney also takes on a 30% share of Hulu.
That's right.
Disney, who is leaving Netflix at the end of this year.
Mhm.
Disney, who is like, hey, we're going to have our own streaming service. And now they're going to have a very high interest. I don't know how much of a controlling interest. I don't know how any of that stuff works.
Right.
But I do find it to be fascinating. So will Disney team up with Hulu? And
It
it's
would
like,
make
okay,
sense.
because then we could do Punisher, Daredevil type, those street heroes again.
Yeah.
On Hulu, and kind of keep it off of the Disney,
Right.
off the mouse.
Exactly.
Don't want to keep it in the same house. We keep the mouse.
There you
go.
And we could keep it as dark and gritty as we love it.
That's interesting.
That's
I
a very
don't know,
good. That's a very good.
Just
point
thought about that
there.
right now, talking
Yeah, for
about
sure.
it. So, it would be interesting to see, what their plan is for that. We're not businessmen by any means.
No.
But it's just some of these facts were
It's cool.
Were fascinating.
It's good to speculate on this stuff.
And to go deeper into that aspect of it, because we're happy. Oh, cool! We get to get X-Men,
sure.
we get to get Fantastic Four, but then there's maybe 10,000 people who don't have jobs in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So it puts things into perspective.
Yeah, and the worst thing is they'll probably go see these movies too, even though they lost their job.
Well, they're going to need to be entertained.
That's
Hopefully,
right.
there's good severance. For any executives that get burned, they're gonna get $1 million
for sure.
severance back.
Those people,
or whatever.
Or people who don't stand to lose anything seem to gain everything.
know,
It seems
it's
that
so
way,
crazy.
and again, I do feel bad for the people on the bottom. I do feel bad, but
Hopefully, it opens up the door for another up and coming, production company,
Sure.
something else that can get done. We are, Weinstein Company lists. We are Miramax lists, which I know are pretty much the same thing. But, the smaller, and obviously for reasons that make total sense, but these smaller kind of production companies that will take chances on the little guy. I'd like to see more of that kind of start to bloom in these, because this is a big void.
Oh yeah,
it's a huge void in the industry. Because now I know a lot of people who are just terrified that Disney is just hoarding power. And monopolies.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, the rich get richer.
Oh yeah.
Honestly
though, I think in times like this it breeds creativity.
Yes.
Because now you're going to have all these people who were subject to Fox's whims are free now, and maybe, like you said, they can start their own stuff.
Yeah.
That, and I think in desperation breeds creativity. I'm excited to maybe see what these people might do.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's a fair point, because maybe that startup production company I dream of doesn't happen, but Netflix is hurting for content.
Sure.
They're like, hey, we're going to give more of you. We're going to give the next Duffer Brothers, their own series, or and it's just all good for us.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully the free market will balance things out in the end,
and give us Disney some competition.
Yes.
Give us some good content, more content.
Yes.
So it's a win-win if people can pull it off and see past the negative.
One of the big things that I don't think a lot of people realize, and maybe people who do listen to this podcast do, but Fox owned the rights to Star Wars: A New Hope.
That's right. I didn't know that until we literally just started this before we got on air. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
It's interesting that there wasn't I guess they put out the first movie, so I guess the other Return of the Jedi
we're under Lucas and
but now this opens the door for the hardcore fans to get those unadulterated, the original releases.
No, this Greedo shooting first nonsense.
Yeah.
And none of this shoehorned CGI.
If Disney wants to make $1 billion tomorrow, I actually don't know how Blu-ray sales work, but they can make a ton of cash.
I'd say re-release it in theater.
They announce they re-release, and then hey, we're gonna have this ultimate mega super box set,
unedited.
Yes.
Just
the original theatrical release,
the way it was supposed to be seen.
Yes.
Because we don't have a Blu-ray or DVD version of that, do we?
I don't believe so. I think the last unedited version was VHS.
Yeah.
The black ones that had like Vader's face, Yoda's face, and maybe a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
I think you're right, man.
So we don't have a digital conversion, a DVD, Blu-ray version of these films. So that's
amazing.
If you just want to make all the money,
you're
just going to re-release in the theaters and then do an amazing box set.
Oh yeah.
God.
That's cool, because I'd be there in a heartbeat. I'd buy it. I'd stand in line. I'd be there.
It would be another, and it's just this ability to just repackage. Star Wars has always made its money on that.
For sure.
They repackage toys. They reprint comics. You can't go into any department store and not see two versions of Luke. They're the exact same toy, but in different packaging.
Right. Oh, for real.
And people buy them.
Oh,
people just buy them left and right,
Jeez,
and
man.
it's crazy. So the idea of being able to re-release these films and then re-release them on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It's the possibilities are endless for that. The money is there.
Oh yeah.
They paid $71 billion for this. So.
That would be a good way to get some of that back.
I think I don't know. Again, I don't know how the sales work, but you're gonna make a chunk of change.
Oh hell yeah.
And then especially you're like, oh okay, hey, we're gonna do each. We're gonna re-release a big box set, but are you a Palpatine fan? Because here's one that's shaped like Palpatine. Here's one that's shaped like Vader. You release 6 different ones. They're a Darth Maul head or
sure
double light. I don't know.
A Jar Jar.
God.
Oh sorry.
Oh God.
I heard the whole world just cringe there for a minute.
Please don't unsubscribe, okay? That's the powerhouse. That's the acquisition there. That Infinity Gauntlet that is Disney. They have princesses and comic books and Star Wars and Avatar, and it's just like how much money? How much money do you need, really?
Really? it's funny because I don't even look at it that way. I look at it as just acquiring all these great characters and getting it under one roof. But you're right; it's not about that to them. It's about money.
Yeah,
and that's sad.
Granted, they were able to make so much money on basically just girls for almost the entirety of their existence, and it took them, however long to realize, like, oh crap, we have to get into the, we have to get men and boys and brothers and dads and sons in this too. They're tagging along with their sisters and their moms, but then they, like you said, you weren't really a big fan of Aladdin or Lion King.
Mm-mm.
Like, they're okay for you.
It's fine.
But, but they got your money now.
They did. Oh,
they got your money now.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
Well, I think that's all we have for today in terms of news. We'll be back next week with a new topic, more news, and whatnot. So if you like what we're doing, please hit that subscribe button.
Yes,
please give us a like.
Some feedback would be nice.
Yeah,
please.
leave us some comments if you want us to talk about something. Yeah. Just post it below, and we'll
come at me, bro.
Well, let's not get too aggressive. What'd you learn today?
I'm just stoked on everything, and the rich get richer, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah. All right. How
about you? What'd you learn?
I'm wondering how long it takes for them to buy Paramount and try to get Star Trek. That's what I'm.
Then we can finally get our Star Trek, Star Wars.
Yeah. Let's just settle this whole thing. Now the power move is Warner Brothers goes out and they buy Paramount, and they just keep Star Trek away from Disney.
Oh man, just to be mean.
Yeah, just
keep
it away.
Cool.
Just keep it away. All right, guys. For this podcast, I have been Roman Chavez.
Erik Icarus.
And thanks for listening.